Hello and welcome to Mazecast, the online video web series where we talk about maze. I'm Diane Heaton, and I'm joined today by Vincent Watkins and Sarah Goodchild.
And you may have noticed for tonight's show, unusually, we've started out the broadcast with our maze hats on. Typically, we would put these on a few minutes into the episode when we begin to get into deep analysis of maze. We had them on because we originally talked about doing a show about hats in the maze, and we took a look through there. A little less than half the pages in the book have hats. There are a lot of different kinds of hats. There are recurring hats. Probably a lot to talk about there, but we reached the point of broadcast and realized that no one had really put in the effort or the work to have anything meaningful to say about the hats other than flipping through the pages and saying, yep, there's a hat on this page and there's a hat on that page. And no, we never really figured anything out about any of that shit. And it didn't seem really worth going forward with that, but it did seem to sort of raise another interesting question, which is the maze community just dead? Is it just dead at this point? We obviously continue doing these. These were never like the driving force of the maze community besides, for our own group and whatever small group of people were watching them. But even those numbers have started tanking. If you look at how many people have watched the last couple.
Wait, have they really? I didn't think that was possible.
It did. It happened.
Just to be clear, we never expected people to watch these. That wasn't the point. We put them on YouTube kind of just because that's what you do with videos when you have them.
Certainly, this is not an avenue for promoting maze. Like, if you were not already a fan of maze, you certainly wouldn't watch this. I think for people who were involved and like going to the abyss all the time, a number of them watched at least some of our shows, but I don't even know to what extent that's happening anymore, because whoever the people were that were giving us our previous numbers, which were not high, but you can go back and see videos that have 100 hits, or some of them have hundreds, but that's probably just because people click on them without knowing what they are. We just inadvertently found some good search engine optimization on some of them. But now, like the last few, it's well below that. And and the abyss seems fairly dead. And if you look at the last few comments that are actually about trying to find stuff in maze, it's some fairly introductory level stuff. But it's like, hey, did anyone ever notice that that guy has a beard? Or hey, has anyone ever tried to do anything with the fact that room 24 is all dark? And even that kind of stuff seems to have died out fairly quickly. Like someone makes an observation and then just disappears off the face of the earth. So, I think it's a fair question. Are we just, these are the last gasps of the maze community here?
Yeah, that's an exciting topic, and I'm happy to dive right in. So, maze community, are we dead? I'm going to say yes. I don't think there's much more that's going to happen with maze. Whether there's more things to be found in the book or not, that's not the point. The point is nobody's doing that, and never will.
Well, not only, that's been true from the beginning, but the difference is
there have been apparent efforts before.
Right. That's the difference. Before we thought, well, maybe not all of us, maybe not you, but there were those of us who thought it was possible that now sort of realize, oh, wait, nope, we were misled the whole time. And, and I've said that 100 million times on these shows, but then I always followed up with, so what do we do next? Where are we going to go next? And we could talk about the reality seems to be, when it comes down to it, where have we gone next? And it seems to be where we've gone next is to focus on sort of side issues for the fun of it as a way of preserving the community and, the interaction and just the idea of the maze community without really trying to solve maze in any appreciable fashion, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to say that's true.
But is that does that doom the community, or I don't know, is there any chance that that really preserves the community in the long run?
Maybe it just means the community isn't about Maze anymore.
Well, don't you think
Maybe it's
there's a
about-
chance that we could find out new things still, and that it's just in a lull right now? I mean, there was all the activity in the John Bailey days, right, where there was sort of a flurry of activity, and then this new flurry of activity happened with White Raven's site, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that, I mean, it's certainly possible 10 years from now, people are going to, group of people will get interested in Maze, and then they'll start combing through all this stuff. I think they might be quickly deterred at the large quantity of bullshit in it. And I certainly don't think they would have to be some serious Maze fans to start watching all of Mazecast.
Well, maybe we should treat this video as an opportunity to address those future Maze explorers.
Yeah.
So if you from the future are watching this and are interested in this weird puzzle book thing, I don't know what to say to you. It's a nice looking book.
If someone suggests a solution to you that is not describable as a word game, do not listen to them. They are full of shit.
Now, come on, we have some Manson confirmed solutions that are not word games, don't we?
Do we?
Do we?
We have very few Manson confirmed solutions. Yeah, so that's another thing. Person from the future who's looking into the truth of Maze. See if you can get Christopher Manson to actually tell anyone anything about the book, because we have not had any success at that here in our quaint past of 2017.
Well, I think that's where we should be focusing our energies.
On Manson?
Yes, on Manson.
I vote against capturing him. I want him to be left free in the wild.
I still want to talk to him.
Yeah, I certainly don't disagree with the idea, and I'm probably just more defeatist, but that's not a good reason not to put forth effort, because if we're going to be putting forth effort in something, that's a good idea. Well, let's take that. What are some ideas? What are some ways that we could get Manson to interact with us directly?
Wait, us or people 10 years from now?
Us right now.
I'm not sure who this video is for right now.
Well,
is there anything that people in the future could do to help us? Are they able to travel back in time? Or is it a one-way communication?
Okay, but assuming that they're not able to travel back in time, odds are good that at least some of us will still be around 10 years from now.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe they could... no, wait. Compound interest doesn't work in our favor with this. That would be better if they want us to give them money.
No, but okay.
But
listen, speaking of money, I think that the idea we had in the last Mazecast, or one of the recent ones, about actually just straight up offering him money to talk to us is not a bad idea.
Okay, but how do we do that?
I guess we could just send him a letter, right?
Right.
Does he read letters?
I think he would.
He read Alex's letter, because he didn't just forward it on to White Raven.
That's
he
true.
Emailed it to him or told him the contents or something.
Yeah.
Well, then how come you didn't reply to my Christmas card 3 years ago? Answer me that.
Did you ask for a reply?
No, it's a Christmas card. That would be rude.
Well, there you go.
What if we throw a party?
I'm not actually sure if Christmas card etiquette.
What if we throw a party and send him an invitation RSVP, so he has to contact us one way or the other?
Nice.
I don't think it's a bad idea if we do write to him to send him a reply envelope to make things as easy as possible.
Yes.
I don't think that's a bad idea.
We could even send along something where he can just check boxes to indicate responses.
Yeah, like a wedding invitation where it's like, do you want the beef? Would you like to talk to us? Will you do it for $50? I think it's
That's
a good
not
idea.
a bad idea.
Could make like a little Manson questionnaire. We have to calibrate it, you know.
Yeah, maybe give a space where he can write how he would prefer to be contacted for an interview.
Yeah.
I guess we could do an interview via mailing letters back and forth, but that doesn't seem ideal.
No, but it's an option. It'd be
Mhm.
better than nothing. Be kind of entertaining.
All right, we've got our goal then.
That's good. I think this is a
Good.
good plan.
All
Good,
right.
we just saved the maze community.
Yeah, future people, I'm done talking to you now. We're set to save the maze community ourselves.
You're welcome.
But okay, so the too long didn't watch on this is the maze community is no longer interested in engaging with maze. All we want to do is talk to Christopher Manson.
Yeah.
So
We've
we are no
done
longer
everything we can get out of the book itself. It's time to track down the author.
no.
As soon
Actually
as we
getting a
talk
response
about-
back from Christopher Manson may require some kind of subterfuge. So maybe we don't want to get too deep into our plans. I'm sure his family will be watching.
Well,
Yeah, I'll have to do that off the air.
okay.
Uh,
Our plan's just try and talk to him, see if he's up for talking to us. That's straightforward.
we know
Yeah.
other people can talk to him. That guy that is doing that video game that apparently there's already a video game by the same name. He talked to him.
Allegedly.
That's true. They had some, well, he had some real work to show, right?
Yeah.
So maybe,
That's gonna be a problem.
yeah, because we're not going to put forth any effort.
Right.
I don't have any skills to show off for Manson.
I could play the flute for him.
All right.
We pool our skills, you know.
Sure, we could make a YouTube video directed specifically at Manson and mail him the URL.
Yeah. Unlisted video.
Well, listed, unlisted,
I
whatever.
love the idea that we have to mail him a URL. I really like that.
Especially a YouTube URL, most convenient kind to type in from a paper.
YH24MZ.
Don't make any typos. Okay, so that's one plan.
Yeah, but it doesn't feel like a scheme yet. That's the problem. Like it's probably the best plan, but it's got to get zanier before we can really get that excited about it.
Okay,
Like-
we shouldn't just. This letter should be written in code. That'll impress him.
Hmm.
See, I'm not so convinced that he's interested in that kind of shit.
Well, I don't mean like a good code. I mean terrible word puzzles.
What about rebuses? If we wrote the whole thing in
Yeah.
rebuses?
He does like rebuses.
That could be. We could send him the message in code first and then wait a little bit and send it out of code. Because if he solves the code, then presumably he'll respond before we send him the other. But if he doesn't encode it, then he won't know that we just sent him the decoded message anyway, so it doesn't matter. And it can't do any harm.
Okay, and the contents of this letter, are we going to offer money? Do you think we should actually do that?
I mean, if he sees this video, he's going to know that we're willing to pay money.
It's true. We've already let the cat out of the bag. Doesn't know how much, though.
I don't know
Well-
how much.
I'm not too concerned about driving down his prices. I'm sure we'd pay whatever he thinks is reasonable.
Yeah.
Don't say that. Yeah, this
So
this
would
is
it
not
take?
a good opening to our negotiations.
We're just going to talk ourselves up through the rest of the episode. Well, I guess I'd probably pay a little more than that. If it came down to it. If he was a real hard ass, I'd probably double my price. But
We'll start with a low offer, but if he pushes back at all, we immediately cave.
Oh, I don't know.
I mean, I doubt he's. I don't know. I mean, presumably he would accept some amount of money for an interview about Maze. But
Probably.
but I can't imagine it would be a reasonable amount because, like, he could already be cashing in to some degree.
Would he? I'm not sure there's that much in the way of people who offer actual money for this.
I don't know.
Like,
I mean, I guess it's hard for him to initiate it.
Yeah.
well, I don't know. Suppose you're a legitimate magazine or website or whatever. Why would you go after paying for an interview with this obscure children's book author?
Yeah,
Yeah.
normally, I mean, you wouldn't pay for an interview like that.
Mhm.
You wouldn't pay somebody.
No, I mean, if he said to the readers of The Abyss, hey, fork over some money and I'll tell you about the book, it would work.
It would make him look bad, though. Yeah.
Doesn't seem like his style, that's for sure.
You know what should be done is, so he crowdfunds, is that a phrase?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He crowdfunds Maze 2, and for the reward tiers, he releases secrets.
Oh, man.
Oh, let's
You should
start
be
that
social
Kickstarter
media
for him
man.
and then just email him the password to it. Make a Kickstarter account in Manson's name, start a Maze 2 project, then give him access to it.
Does that work?
Probably not.
Hmm.
I think you need to enter like some tax info there, but
We could probably approximate it.
yeah. Or I don't know, we just make fake social media accounts under his name and say that he's going to start a Kickstarter for Maze 2.
I would probably get him to
Now-
contact us, or maybe his lawyers.
He's not going to hire any lawyers to come at you for a fake Christopher Manson Twitter account.
I mean, he might.
No.
Like, it depends on how successful our campaign of fraud is.
No, you'd get an email from White Raven is what you get.
That's true. An angry email from White Raven.
And
Well, he's not even talking to us anymore.
yeah.
Well, he's busy, right?
We're all busy.
Yeah.
He had a lot going on. He had schooling and his health.
Yeah, that's
Busy
true.
deleting posts on Into the Abyss.
Yeah. Well, it's not like, I don't know about you guys. I wasn't like exchanging a bunch of information with him there at the end anyway. And
I
then,
wasn't. I definitely
yeah,
wasn't.
and it's not like, so there wasn't any kind of falling out or anything, but I have to imagine he's
Yeah.
a little less inclined to talk to some of us after all the disagreement there at the end.
Yeah. Maybe I was a little too vocal about my displeasure with Ask Manson.
I don't know. He just
Maybe, but yeah, I mean, all we can say about any of it though is sort of like, yeah, maybe, but it kind of needed to be said,
Yeah.
You were not horribly impolite about that stuff. It's just there was no nice way to say it, to say, we really need to hear directly from him exactly what he's saying to be able to give meaning to this, because everything is always in this weird middle area.
Hmm. I wonder if actually talking to Manson would clear things up, or if he just doesn't know how to speak directly about Maze.
I think he just doesn't want to.
yeah.
Unless we grease his palm a little.
That's clearly what he's holding out for. Maybe those are the kind of hints that he's dropping all the time, and White Raven's just not picking up on them. Like, I tell you what there, White Raven, my memory's not so good anymore. All I can think about is this big screen TV I wanted to buy. I bet if I had that, it might loosen up some of the old gears. Oh, really? So those three people in room 2, are those women? Are they wearing hats? Are those halos? That was my impression of White Raven.
That's pretty good.
That's what you can presume he sounds like when he talks, based on the text on the Abyss.
I'm glad you explained that because we don't really have reference points for his voice or Manson's voice.
Manson sounds exactly like me,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, White Raven sounds like me doing an unrealistic accent unassociated with any real person.
All right, so we have a plan to talk to Manson.
How many
We
questions
acted
would
it
you want to ask Manson? Say he agreed to an interview in which he'd answer N questions about Maze. How low could N go and still have that be useful?
Well,
'Cause we'd need follow-ups.
yeah, that's the difficult part, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
he doesn't, it seems very unpredictable when he's going to give any kind of satisfying answer to a question.
Well, maybe he's more consistent about that when the words he gives in the answers get conveyed to people.
That's true. It could be. Yeah, I mean, to me, I don't even, most of the things I'd want to hear him talk about are not like simple answers to direct questions, even. I mean, I'd like that too. But
Like more the structure of the book.
yeah, or something where you could give him a topic and then he just talks for 20 minutes or something.
I'd kind of like to hear like where the idea of the book came from.
Yeah, I'd be really interested to hear him talk about stuff.
Whether there are different ways of having it that he tried out first.
I think I started talking over you because my sound cut out. I thought you were done talking.
No, I was saying it'd be interesting to hear like different approaches that he tried with the book early on. It's remarkable how little we know about what went into Maze.
Yeah, well, but we asked a question like that, or we did through White Raven. White Raven said that Manson was unwilling to discuss that. He said that Manson.
That makes me think it got transmitted as a much more specific question.
Maybe, I don't know. I don't have his answers pulled up, but my memory of it is that White Raven was just asking the same sort of thing. He just wanted background material, which Manson gave him some of. You can read on the site about how it was inspired by that Jules Verne book. What's it called?
Island. Treasure Island?
No.
Oh.
Mysterious Island?
Yes.
Mm.
Didn't remember that.
And some other details about how it was the story of it being written, but he wouldn't go into exactly what he was thinking of when he was designing the maze, or anything more specific about inspiration for his puzzle types or anything like that.
Or like how the publisher's contest thing came into it.
Yeah.
So
well, we know that came later.
At what stage in writing that became a thing with it.
Yeah, well, we know the idea for a contest came later, but we don't know whether that altered the book at all. Like, he could have already had the book with a riddle and the answer in it and all that stuff, and then the publisher said, hey, let's make this a contest.
I'd also like to know how he feels about the reception the book got, how he feels about there being communities about over the years, or his reaction to how the contest ended up. We don't really know any of this.
Yeah. There's reaction to the community as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, one of the questions we asked before through White Raven was for Manson to take a look at, I don't remember whether it was puzzle points in general on the site or like a room, and look at puzzle points and see, how does this correlate to how well we've actually understood. And Manson refused to comment on that and just said he was very impressed, which
in general,
I would tend to interpret patronizingly.
No.
Yeah.
You know what he said, which was really funny in the way that White Raven quoted it. He said, "Oh, Manson said he had seen the site and was very impressed. He also said that he had watched a Mazecast."
Yeah, he had watched his first Mazecast recently.
And that was sort of period.
Yeah,
No
I mean,
yeah, I
that's
saw
fair.
your site. I was very impressed. I also saw Mazecast.
Manson, if you're watching this, I think you had the right reaction there.
Well, he
Now-
already watched at least one Mazecast before, so we know for sure he's not watching anymore.
He's done his duty to his most rabid fans.
I don't know, maybe he got into them later. Maybe these are a guilty pleasure for him, and he watches them all the time just to see
I
somebody
can see that.
mention his book in confused ways.
I could see that being pretty enjoyable. I could see it being either incredibly painful or incredibly enjoyable. But he doesn't seem to be bothered by, well, who the hell knows? Why he doesn't
Yeah,
seem to
he
be bothered.
is.
He seems okay to me. He seems like he has a pretty good attitude. No, but at least from what we've seen, he doesn't seem eager to correct the misunderstandings about Maze,
No.
which I'm taking to mean he's not that bothered by the fact that people are reading into it in completely incorrect ways.
I don't know, maybe he feels bad about how nobody got the puzzles he intended, and so he doesn't really want to talk about it.
Yeah, or he
Maybe he's
knows
kind of
if
embarrassed.
if he revealed it, right? If he knows he revealed it, the reaction is going to be the same as the reaction to the Room 45 riddle, which is everyone's going to go, "Oh, come on, for Christ's sake, Manson, Jesus, fuck you," which is what everyone says
Yeah.
right to Manson's face.
But we know there's stuff in there that's not like that, and we know that there's stuff in there that's cool that's still to be found. I mean, in finding that F-hour tree, that can't be like the last thing, right? Oh, we lost Vincent.
No, I think you're right, and the fact that that is so reasonable. Well, Jesus, we've gone around this circle so many times, but the fact that that's so reasonable, and we never saw it.
Yeah.
Owen Hammer pointed out to us, but apparently he had figured that out a long time ago. He just didn't mention it for some reason. But it eluded everybody.
Mhm.
Yeah.
How fucking stupid can we be? But they're just, I mean, it doesn't seem that difficult when you put it together. Like, how did we not see it? But we didn't. So certainly it seems plausible that there's all kinds of shit that makes sense that we're just missing over and over and over.
Mm-hmm. But it's hard to go looking for that stuff deliberately.
Scale, tail, herring, water. Why? It's a word puzzle. We know it's a word puzzle. It's just a fucking puzzle. It's right there. Why can't
That
we
one's not
figure
even a
it out?
path room.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And lately, whenever I've been thinking about Maze, I try to confine myself to the path, just because, like we're not going to make any progress anyway. But if we were going to make any progress, it seems like at least if I'm on the path, I know that there's got to be like something direct,
I'd like to see if Manson's willing to say whether every room has a puzzle that is meant to indicate a door.
Yeah.
Hasn't he said that?
No.
He won't talk to us.
Every room has puzzles.
Did he say that?
I'm
I don't
sure
think-
he said that.
I don't think he's ever said that. White Raven says that.
I mean, it's the common presumption, but I don't think it's been stated anywhere.
No, and I mean, 24 might not have a puzzle in it, right?
Well, okay, yeah. That one's kind of an exceptional room.
Although it could. I mean,
It could.
it could have.
There's certainly room for that.
Right. It can have an encoded message that doesn't do you any good, the same as any other room in the trap.
Mm-hmm.
But in any case, like, we know, or we figure there's got to be what's going on in the path is at least how it's telling you which door to go through. Like the loop, we just don't really know.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it could just be messages telling you you're in the wrong place. But whatever. The trap, we know that there are lots of messages in there. There's some number of messages in there telling you you're fucked, but
It would also be interesting to talk to him about the path loop trap distinction we have and see
Mm.
to what extent that maps to a way he was thinking about dividing things up when he made the book.
It's hard to imagine he didn't have those three
Well, it
realms.
seems like path and off the path, that's pretty clear, but I don't know, maybe some of the the parts that aren't on the shortest path, but still it's possible to get through from there. I don't know how he thinks about that. I
Yeah,
don't know
I
if
mean,
he sees the loop and the trap as meaningfully distinct.
oh, I'd have to think he thinks that, but
Yeah.
maybe not. I mean, if anything, I would think maybe he has more divisions in his mind.
Yeah. Maybe the path on the way to 45 and the path on the way back work completely differently.
Which could be, I mean, we don't know a goddamn thing about, well, we don't know much about much, but as far as the path back, like we don't have a good solution for any choice you make, right?
No.
Oh, room 23. It's got a lot in it.
Wait, a lot of good solutions?
Sure.
Well, okay, room 23 is the best.
Yeah.
And I think the best solution in it pointing to room 8 is well, in my opinion at least, is the broken pane corresponding to the
eighth commandment.
Yeah. The problem is, so okay, do the rules change at 45? So then on the way back, the puzzles do point at the right door,
Yeah.
whereas before they always pointed at the wrong door.
Yeah, we have such a
think the difference
partial
here-
state of understanding that we can't tell if when there's something that seems to indicate a door, whether that means to go through the door or to not go through the door.
Right. Although at this point, we'd be happy even to be able to find things pointing to doors.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, we've got room 1, room 30, room 26. I don't know. I shrug on.
Yeah. It's not
I mean,
that satisfying for sure.
Yeah.
it just leaves. I mean, it seems right. But it's just stuff's pointing at the wrong doors, and you don't go where they're pointing, and that seems to accord with you go to 30, and one of the wrong doors has an arrow pointing to it, and that seems to be enough to say that that's not the right door because there's something pointing towards it. And I don't think any of the correct doors, well, I was going to say have anything pointing towards them, but I guess if you count the spear in 45, then it does.
Points to the right door.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, right. Yes. Okay.
I mean,
It's easy to find random things that happen to point to doors.
Well, that spear is not a random thing. That's
Isn't
a big
it?
giant arrow being shaken directly at a door.
eh,
But
Well-
yeah, how do you know that's not a don't take this door arrow?
but in any case, say I understand a spear is something that points in a direction much more than just like the leg of a chair or something. It's not a completely random thing to pick and say, look where this thing is pointing. It's basically like an arrow. I don't look at that. And I mean, obviously you can draw a line from it and it goes to the correct door. So it's pointing to the door, but I don't see it as clearly directing you to that door the same way that like the arrow in 30 points at the door to 15, or the devil tails are pointing at the numbers in 26, or that the umbrella is pointing at the door in room 10.
Okay. Sure.
But and I don't say that to like discount that. I'm not arguing about whether the spear points. My point is just that I don't know that there is a clear example where it just literally points at the correct door. Like the spear is arguable, but I don't think it's a clear example. I don't think there is a clear example where just the correct door is just flat out pointed at. I mean,
Well,
you
I
got
think if there is going to be one room where that happens, it makes sense for it to be in 45, right? Because all the Ridley stuff like, what's he going to do, right? Because you're supposed to be interpreting the Ridley stuff
Mm-hmm.
to be this message and not door indicators. So then how does he indicate a door with all that other stuff going on?
Yeah, and who knows? I mean, that's what it just. But who knows? Another thought that people had for a long time was that maybe, well, there's something going on in 17 that tells you where to go in 45 because 17 seems completely superfluous otherwise. You don't need to tell us to go to 45. But we have no clue what's going on in 17. I mean, 17 could just be there to try to mislead you to get you to not go to 45. Certainly the text points in that direction.
Yeah.
But we have
One should
zero
never
clue
accept
about
the
any.
obvious, but you do want to accept the obvious there.
Yeah.
Well, the 4 and 5 urns, I mean, that's not an accident.
Well, I don't know.
So, I mean, that does seem pointless, though, having any sort of clue to 45 in the room.
But if he has decided that whether it's just along the path or whether it is in every single room throughout that he's going to have a door indicator, then he has to do something.
Yeah.
Well, sure, but what I think more the point is, like, 2 rooms back, if we had read that as a clue indicating 45, that would have told us don't go to 45.
Yes.
Right. That is a problem. Absolutely, that's a problem.
And I'm more inclined. Am I echoing to somebody? Or
No.
You sound
I
fine.
thought I heard an echo. Sorry. I'm more inclined to believe he didn't mean for us to count the things on the left side of the room and the right side of the room and say, oh, it's 4 and 5, that's 45. I'm more inclined to believe that than to believe that he either arbitrarily completely switched the rules in the middle of the path in, or that there is some super complex covert communication about the rules flipping in the middle. But I'm not happy with either one. Like it's difficult to think he made that room and then just didn't think about the fact that, oh, I guess I have 4 over here and 5 over here.
Mm-hmm.
It's conceivable, but it seems strange, right? It seems strange when he's trying to load up these rooms with clues that he wouldn't think that, oh yeah, I guess 4 plus 5 does kind of make you think of 45. It seems like a weird oversight. At the same time,
and it's not even, it's like 4 on the side of the room where the 4 is and a 5, like that's
right. It's 4 on the left and 5 on the right. It's like a 4 and a 5.
Yeah.
On the other hand, like, I don't see that there's much evidence that Maze has complicated covert communications on the order of telling you that initially you're looking for the one room that it doesn't have things pointed to it, and then at some point that flips and you're looking for rooms that do have things pointed at them. I mean, the difficulty with Maze has always been that things are just not encoded well.
Yeah.
Not that it has super specific or difficult rules that you're supposed to follow to find things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the few things that we have confirmed are straightforward when you imagine constructing them from Manson's point of view. Like the room 45 riddle, yeah, nobody's going to get that by looking at the book, but you can see from Manson's point of view how it made sense. Every step of it is motivated.
Mm-hmm.
Well, most steps. I'm still not sure why the sentence is so odd.
That is weird, isn't it? Like,
yeah, I mean,
he
maybe
clearly
it's just
didn't.
that he was limited to words that he could think of good ways to encode.
Well, that's what I was just gonna say. It clearly wasn't that. He clearly wasn't like, oh, I got these great ideas for a puzzle, but I gotta word things a little awkwardly to get there.
Well, like it's easier for him to clue all than everyone.
Sure,
So,
Right.
but that doesn't make it
that doesn't really
terribly
help
awkward.
things.
No, I mean puzzles on the order of, W plus hat for
Mhm.
what? Like you
Or
could come up
U
with that
plus
for just
shoe
about
for house.
you're right. Any common word you want, you can come up with something on the order of that.
Yeah.
I can see him having thought of the William Shakespeare Woodrow Wilson thing and having liked that for some reason.
Yeah, that's a
Maybe
neat bet.
that's a good puzzle. I still suspect that it followed the desire to use the word will, not the other way around.
Right. Well, and it's not like the word will. It's not like it's a difficult word, right?
Right.
Well, it's also not like it's probably that unusual to be able to find a word that occurs in two people's names.
Right.
Find another one.
And name another word that occurs in two people's names.
Yeah.
Tom.
Harder than you thought.
Well, Upton Sinclair and George Washington.
Okay.
But then how do you make a rebus for Upton Sinclair? It seems impossible.
Yeah.
You draw,
Well, you can have an up-pointing arrow. That part's easy.
right, and then you just don't draw Claire anywhere on the page.
Nice.
Yeah.
No, you draw a kitchen sink and an animal's den.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's good.
All right, so we'll give you that one. You did a good job on that one, Manson. Although remember he resorted to just writing IAM for the end of William.
True.
It didn't have to be a perfect fit.
Yeah. Okay. The Woodrow is clever.
Yeah, Woodrow Wilson is a good name to use with that.
Mm-hmm.
And the IAM can at least be read as I am, which is confusing a little bit.
That's true, which means that it's not like a clever encoding. It does a good job of obfuscating what's going on to the extent you can.
Yeah, you can read that as, this is a clue that the guide is some powerful guy shaking a weapon.
Right. Some logs.
That's another thing. I'd like to see if Manson has anything to say about the guide.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Although, I mean, honestly, that doesn't okay, it's the Minotaur, which we all knew anyway.
Well, no, I don't mean who is the guide. I mean why he decided to have the guide's identity be mysterious, what sort of clues he thought he was making for that.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, why did he make them the architect of the house?
Yes.
Why? What's the judgmental stuff?
Well, I really would like to know how much he was influenced by House Mysterian. I really would like to know that. I know it's a minor.
No, that's
But
fine.
it would explain a lot of things.
His
Mhm.
influences in general, I think, would be great to hear about.
Yeah.
I think we could easily talk with Manson for 4 or 5 hours.
Oh, yeah. Especially if we had snacks.
Yeah, snacks. Yeah, we should definitely put that in our letter to him.
Snacks.
Yeah,
We will
he needs
use
to
snacks.
do an interview and give us snacks.
Give us. I would go to his house.
Yeah.
I would find a way.
Yeah, he probably wouldn't want to do the interview electronically.
I mean, it would be nice if we could get him to do something that could be recorded. He seems very reluctant to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. He
I
wouldn't
believe
even.
in Maryland, where he lives, you have to have somebody's permission to record a conversation with them.
I mean, here's
I know
the
you do over the phone.
right. Well, he won't even he won't even allow White Raven to do what we're talking about. I guess is what suddenly discourages me a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Maybe White Raven hasn't
Maybe he
actually
has
made
a
the
lot of
offer
money.
as clearly as we think.
Mm. That's true. I bet he may not have offered money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We will offer upwards of $10. Total, not each.
I think we could get a reasonable sum of money together.
I find it real hard to imagine Manson being motivated by any reasonable amount of money.
Wait, do you think he'd hold out for an unreasonable amount? Do you think that would make the difference for him?
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't think he'd hold out for an unreasonable, but I think he would. It would just. Everyone has an amount that would make it worth their time. So
Yeah.
I assume some amount would do it. But if it were an amount that would actually be worth it to us to pay, that we would pay, that's probably not going to be a life-changing amount to him. And he just
Yeah.
seems really reluctant to engage with this May stuff.
I mean, I know we assume that he's incredibly wealthy from writing Maze, but what if that's not the case?
No, I'm not even assuming he's incredibly wealthy, but like how much would it's hard for me, I guess, to say, to put myself in his shoes and say, what would it take, what would someone have to offer me, like, well, I'm just being an idiot if I don't do it. Like, I can't turn down that amount of money.
Right,
Not
even if
'cause-
it means you have to interact with some crazy people who you hate.
Yeah.
But that's
Like-
part of it, right? Like offering money shows that we're serious.
Yes,
Yeah,
we're
or-
serious Maze journalists.
or it's completely insulting. I don't know.
Why would that be insulting?
I don't know. People are funny about money.
They are.
Yeah, let's not offer him any money.
But I think of it as an event. It's like we're offering you money. I don't
Just
know.
call it a
Depending on
speaking fee. That's normal.
exactly.
Yes.
That's it. Exactly.
Yes.
That's it.
Except speaking fees, I only hear about those as being very high for people.
Well, for like Bill Clinton and stuff, but
Right, yeah, famous people like Bill Clinton and Christopher Manson.
So, I mean, if let's say we offered him $500 to talk to us for an hour.
that's hilarious. That's exactly the sum of money that's been sitting in my head as well.
It-
I don't know.
But here's the question: do you think, like, but he could still turn that down, right?
He could.
He could. $500 is a great sum of money for an hour, but still, it's also not a hard sum of money to say no to.
Yes, that's the thing. Like,
Yeah, you're saying we're not going to get him to be motivated solely by greed.
yes, that's the idea.
Right.
Because I think
Maybe
you
he'll
have to
be
offer
so
him, like,
touched by our offer that he'll want to reward us with an interview.
maybe we should pretend to be like 10-year-old kids, and we send them like $20 in singles and like quarters and stuff. And we're like, we saved all the money we could find, Mr. Manson.
Please, Mr. Manson, won't you talk to us?
Oh, oh my god. Then Vincent and I would have to, coach our respective children to like
Yes.
carry the ruse through. Uh, I don't know.
We probably shouldn't have revealed that plan on the air.
Yeah, I think we're safe though.
Yeah.
Although, who knows? Maybe White Raven's still watching. I didn't think he was still watching back when we were crapping all over the guide puzzle, but
That's
apparently he
true.
was.
Yeah, he ended up taking down a lot of stuff off of the guide page as a result.
Yeah.
That's a pity. I think it's good to have a record of even incorrect solutions.
I went and saved it off the Wayback Machine.
Oh, good.
I don't even know if you have to do that or if it just keeps it indefinitely. I don't know how that works.
It'll keep it indefinitely unless he puts a thing on his site saying not to archive it.
Okay.
All right, well, I see it's been an hour, so we're about done here. Thanks for watching. If you're watching from 10 years in the future, click here to see our exclusive interview with Christopher Manson.
Oh no, here's what we're gonna say. If you are watching, if there is an actual person watching this who is not on this show, right? You've been silent up to this point. Contact us. Say something. Join in the effort here. We're not going to try to get you on a Mazecast. You don't need to come in the chat. You don't need to be best friends. But let's figure out a way to work together to try to get Manson to communicate.
Oh, no, wait, you're addressing people who might be watching this now in the present.
That's right.
Yes, I
Okay,
forgot.
yeah,
I'm only addressing the future.
I guess I'd been assuming that nobody in the present would watch this.
Well, that's the realistic decision, but I'm trying to be a little quixotic about it.
Yeah, okay, if we have like 2017 era viewers of this, it would be cool to hear about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the new mission in maze solving. It's to just talk to Manson and get him to tell us.
Yeah.
It's our only hope.
All right. There we are. The maze community is dead, though, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Good night.
Night.